I'm Jim Budd. I'm a stained glass conservator, and I've been working in stained glass for nearly 40 years. The glass that we're dealing with is from the 15th century. It's rare and it's considered to be amongst the finest 15th century glass in the country. They came originally from Dale Abbey, which was basically after the Disillusion was taken down, and the windows, the stained glass and the masonry was eventually put up in Morley Church. So it's got an amazing history. The glass is very important because it's narrative glass and it tells a story across a series of panels. There's a lot of character in the figure work, the way it sort of illuminates medieval life in many ways. It's a history as well as a beautiful work of art. The two stories are the legend of Robert of Knaresborough and the legend of the Holy Cross. And you can read the story through the stained glass, which often people say about stained glass, you know, it tells us, every window tells a story. Well, these actually do. Some of the early glass, the 15th century glass, is corroded. But the main sort of worry about the glass is the loss of glass paint, the decorative glass paint on the surface of the glass, which defines the figures and the faces and the decoration. And over time, this active is sort of removed by condensation. And the process sort of remains active as long as there's damp conditions and weathering and condensation, really. The first thing with the work is that we document what's there. So we photograph everything in detail. The removal of the windows, it takes quite a long time to cut away. The glass is held into the masonry with mortar, which all has to be cut away without causing any damage, either to the masonry or to the glass. We had a team of 3 or 4 people just using hand tools, so masonry chisels, but we have very particularly thin chisels because the groove that the glass is held in is very narrow. So sometimes you have to take out very little amount of mortar at a time. But just moving the glass around, it takes a lot of skill. So just handling the glass is very important. The windows are boarded up and we bring them back to the studio for a number of months to work on the glass. We would photograph them again on a light box, so we have a really good record of what the windows were like. We take rubbings, rather like a brass rubbing. We take a wax image of the lead matrix. In this case, we're not taking the lead matrix apart, but that enables us to accurately log on what the damage is on the glass and what we're going to do and what we did do at the end in terms of intervention on each panel. We resized the glass slightly to fit into bronze frames. So this will just be the edge leads and what we call the division leads between the different panels. And then we set them into bronze frames, which are low profile but rigid. If there's a gap of light, these are screwed onto the masonry. So we add a flange of lead, a sort of skirt of lead around the outside, very thin lead tape, which is soldered on. We try to match any replacement painted pieces with the original. And interestingly, in the early 19th century restoration, the restorers did replace a lot of glass and they deliberately aged the glass to fit in with the medieval glass. I don't think we'd go so far as to do that nowadays, but we would tonally make the glass fit in so it doesn't stand out. There's a few pieces that we will have to repaint because of large holes. And everything that we replace, of course, we will mark with the date so that it's known that it's from this phase of conservation. A lot of the solder joints will be cracked or worn away, so we will consolidate the soldering throughout the panels just by adding a bit here and there, which is the traditional technique for holding together stained glass panels. We call the process environmental protective glazing, but you can laughingly call it double glazing because we're putting on the outside a clear leaded glazing. The stained glass will be positioned about 40 millimeters to the interior of that with a ventilation at the top and bottom, ventilation gaps, so that there's a flow of air keeping the glass free of damp. After we've put in the secondary protective glazing, we then screw in the bronze frames and ease down those lead skirts around the edge so that no light comes around the edge. And then you stand back and feel proud and satisfied that what you're looking at is the same window but protected for the future.